Hello guys, I hope you're doing well today. We are gonna analyze Sousou no Frieren, which is a Japanese manga written by Kanehito Azurated. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe our channel. This serial was published in Shagakan Manga Shan Shagakan Weekly on April 2020, and their chapters were collected on 11 tankobon books since September 2023. This series is licensed for publication in English in North America by Viz Media. An anime series adaptation by Madhouse is set to premiere in September 2023. The genre of this serial is some of adventure drama and fantasy. The stars of this serial are Frieren, voiced by Tsumi Tanizaki. If I want to tell about this character, I would say an elven mage who was a member of the group that defeated the demon king. Although she appears to be very young, she was born into a long-lived race of elves and has lived for over 1,000 years. Because her sense of time is so dissimilar to that of humans, she has no anxiety about working for months, if not years, at a time. After the death of Himmel, a member of her disbanded party, Frieren regretted not knowing him better during their 10-year adventure. As a result, she goes abroad on another journey to learn more about humanity. She has also traveled with a human wizard apprentice, Fern, since she took her on as an apprentice at Hyder's suggestion. Over 1,000 years ago, Frieren was rescued by the great wizard Flam during a demon attack on her hometown. This painful experience instilled in Frieren a deep-seated abhorrence for demons, fueling her ambition to rid the world of their presence. After the Demon King's demise, Frieren dedicated herself to researching demon-slaying magic while continuing to kill them whenever she could until the demon race was no longer as threatening as it once was. As the wizard who has buried the most demons in recorded history, she has earned the moniker Frieren the Slayer and is feared by the demon race. Despite her accomplishments, Frieren has faced her share of defeats and struggles with certain shortcomings. As an elf, she is often perceived as being insensitive to human emotions. Her occasional clumsiness in social interactions leads others to mistakenly label her as aloof, but in reality, Frieren possesses a kind and caring nature. The other star is Fern, voiced by Kana Ichinos, and Fern would be Frieren's only apprentice. She is a war orphan from a southern country who had lost her parents and was about to commit suicide by jumping off a ravine in despair when Hyder came to her rescue. She began training in magic as a child under Hyder's tutelage in order to become more self-sufficient. She met Frieren, who visited Hyder when she was 9 years old. Fern requested that Frieren teach her magic so that she could become a full-fledged mage. After Hyder's death, she embarks on a journey as Frieren's apprentice at the age of 15. Later, she became a first-class mage after passing the examination while still in adolescence. As a privilege of being a first-class mage, Fern may ask Siri practically any magic. Likewise, the newly appointed first-class wizard merely asked for a spell to remove dirt from any garments, much to Siri's dismay. And the other one is Stark, voiced by Chiaki Kobayashi, and in this serial Stark is a young warrior who was raised by Aizen and served as a replacement for him on Frieren's new adventure. Since Aizen declined the invitation due to his old age, Stark stepped up to become the frontline fighter in battles, a role that Frieren and Fern, being magicians, are not suited for. Despite his timidity, Stark proves to be a strong and capable warrior, fiercely loyal to his companions. Himmel, voiced by Nobuhiko Okamoto, is a human member of the original hero party who died. He was the hero of the group and a self-proclaimed handsome man. After seeing a meteor shower together, he and Frieren promised to meet again. He died shortly after the two reunited 50 years later. Hyder, voiced by Hiroki Tochi, is the other deceased human member of the hero party, the alcohol-loving priest of the group. He found, adopted, and raised Fern after the party dissolved. And Aizen, voiced by Yoji Ueda, is another living member of the original hero party besides Frieren. Aizen is a dwarf who, although not as long-lived as elves, still has a significantly longer lifespan than humans. However, Aizen was past his prime despite his extended life and growing old, even by dwarf standards. As a result, he declined Frieren's invitation to embark on a new adventure, choosing to spend his remaining days in peace. Before continuing about production, don't forget to subscribe our channel. So Katsuma Ogura, the editor in charge of Frieren, noted that Yamada's previous work, Bachi, Hake's to Robot Shoujo no Zetsubuteki Utopia, did not sell well, despite considering it is wonderful. This led to the suggestion of giving Yamada and directing Frieren. They had several thoughts that went from a gag manga which resulted in storyboards for a one-shot of Frieren. Reading the one-shot of Frieren, Ogura started laughing, claiming it is not a comedy at all. When Yamada finished the first storyboard, before sending it to the editorial department, Ogura contacted Abe and asked them to draw a character chart. Yamada was impressed with it and Ogura asked him to do it, submitting the project to the editorial. Ogura was impressed with Abe's artwork and suggested him to work with Yamada. Yamada was impressed with the first illustration of Frieren, believing the title character had an aura of humanity. After Kanehito Yamada, who was in charge of the original work, finished serializing his previous work, since it was a comedy about demons, I suggested that they try writing a gag in that direction, and suddenly the name of the first chapter of Funeral Frieren came up. After that, he decided to hire someone to be in charge of drawing, and when he showed his name to Tsukasa, Abe, who was also in charge, he responded, "I'd like to draw it." When I asked him to draw a character picture for Frieren, Yamada said, "If this is the person, please do it." Abe was put in charge of the animation. The origin of the title of this work is that Yamada had a title idea, but the editorial department also considered it, and at the editorial department meeting, the editor in charge said, "If we decide on a good title, we will pay a prize of 10,000 yen out of our own pocket." One of the title ideas submitted by the deputy editor-in-chief was Funeral Frieren, and Yamada and Abe finally decided on the title, which became the current title. For the animated adaptation by Madhouse, Tomohiro Suzuki said Fern's character was too different depending on who she is interacting with. With Frieren there is a motherly bond while, in front of Stark, she acts like a childish normal teenager. Director Keiichiro Saito added that Fern appears to have several changes in the narrative as her growth has a major impact on Frieren. When it comes to Stark, Suzuki says that despite being a coward, he is still written to be handsome and cool and has a major impact on Fern as he becomes the first young male friend she has ever met and socialized in her entire life. Okay guys, this is analyzing of Sousou no Frieren. You like it, don't forget to comment for us, and watch the previous videos.